Beatrice Hall was 23 years old when she returned home from the hospital with fresh stitches hidden beneath her sweater and pain medicine clutched tightly in trembling fingers. Every slow step from the driveway toward the front door sent sharp pain through her stomach, but she still forced herself to stand upright because sympathy did not exist inside the Hall family home. The moment the door opened, her mother Gloria glanced at her pale face and immediately pointed toward the kitchen. "You are finally back," she snapped coldly. "Stop acting weak and make dinner." Beatrice blinked in disbelief. "Mom, I just had surgery." Her older brother Marcus leaned against the hallway wall laughing carelessly. "Convenient timing. You always fake sickness when chores appear." Their father Daniel noticed the hospital bracelet on her wrist but lowered his eyes instead of speaking. Beatrice nearly collapsed from pain before footsteps suddenly sounded behind her in the doorway that terrifying evening. Sterling Vaughn stepped quietly into the house wearing a dark coat and expression so cold it immediately silenced everyone standing inside the hallway. Gloria's mouth froze halfway open. Marcus lowered the gaming controller in his hands. Daniel's face lost all color the moment he realized Sterling had heard every cruel word spoken to Beatrice after surgery. Sterling slowly looked down at the apron lying near Beatrice's feet before lifting his eyes toward Gloria. His voice remained calm but terrifyingly controlled. "Did you just order a woman recovering from surgery to prepare dinner for this family?" Nobody answered him. Silence spread across the hallway while dinner guests whispered nervously from the next room. Sterling stepped farther inside and calmly closed the front door behind him. "This dinner is cancelled," he announced firmly. Then he looked directly at the Hall family. "Sit down. All of you. We are going to discuss exactly what has been happening inside this house for years beginning tonight." 3 months before that painful evening, Beatrice already felt less like a daughter and more like unpaid labor trapped inside the Hall family home. The large house outside Raleigh looked beautiful from the outside with polished windows, white pillars, and expensive decorations Gloria proudly displayed online. Inside those walls, however, Beatrice carried responsibilities meant for 3 people alone. She attended nursing school during the day and worked evening shifts at a pharmacy to cover her books, uniforms, and transportation expenses. Yet every night she returned home exhausted only to find dirty dishes overflowing in sinks, laundry scattered across stairs, and empty takeout boxes abandoned around the living room. Gloria spent most afternoons shopping online while ordering everyone around from the kitchen island. Marcus called himself a future internet celebrity despite spending entire days playing games inside his bedroom. Daniel avoided every argument by pretending not to notice anything happening around him at home anymore each exhausting day. Whenever Beatrice begged for help cleaning the house, Daniel simply sighed and repeated the same tired sentence. "Please keep the peace. You know how your mother behaves." Keeping peace meant cooking dinner after 12-hour days, washing Marcus's dishes, folding everyone's laundry, and cleaning bathrooms nobody else touched. Gloria constantly called it teaching responsibility. Marcus called it earning her place. Beatrice silently called it exhaustion. She stopped expecting kindness because every complaint only made her family laugh harder. One evening while washing dishes after work, a sharp pain suddenly twisted low inside her stomach. She gripped the kitchen counter and struggled to breathe. Gloria glanced up from her phone with irritation instead of concern. "Do not start acting dramatic tonight," she snapped impatiently. Marcus walked past laughing loudly. "She is pretending to be sick so she can avoid cooking." Daniel sat nearby sorting mail but said absolutely nothing while his daughter quietly fought pain beside the kitchen sink that exhausting evening. Over the following days the pain became impossible for Beatrice to ignore. Carrying laundry upstairs left her dizzy and weak. Standing too long in the kitchen caused sharp cramps that nearly stole her breath completely. One evening she collapsed briefly onto the pantry floor while cooking rice for dinner. When the rice burned, Gloria exploded with anger instead of concern. "You ruin one simple meal and suddenly everyone suffers," she shouted furiously. Marcus grabbed a drink from the refrigerator and laughed while Beatrice struggled to stand again. "Maybe she wants attention," he joked carelessly. Daniel heard every cruel word but continued staring silently at his phone. Beatrice desperately wanted someone to ask if she felt all right. She wanted one person inside that house to notice she was genuinely suffering. Instead, she apologized softly through tears, threw away the burned rice, and forced herself to cook another dinner while pain twisted harder inside her stomach with every movement she painfully made alone. A few nights later, Gloria left Beatrice home alone with a long list of chores taped across the refrigerator door using decorative fruit magnets. Mop kitchen. Wash guest towels. Clean Marcus's bathroom. Defrost dessert. At the bottom, Gloria had written 2 final words. No excuses. By then the pain inside Beatrice's stomach felt unbearable. She tried carrying trash outside but collapsed halfway across the kitchen floor, gasping painfully for air. Cold sweat covered her skin while panic rushed through her chest. She called Gloria first. No answer. She called Daniel. Voicemail answered immediately. Even Marcus rejected her call after only 2 rings. Finally, she sent one desperate message into the family group chat. Something is wrong. I need help. Minutes later, Gloria replied coldly. We are eating dinner. Stop looking for attention. Marcus added a laughing emoji followed by, if you can text, you can clean. Daniel never responded at all that terrifying night while Beatrice remained completely alone there. Shaking with pain and fear, Beatrice ordered a rideshare because she felt guilty calling an ambulance for herself despite barely remaining conscious. The driver looked alarmed the moment he saw her bent over on the front porch holding her stomach. By the time they reached the emergency room, nurses rushed forward with a wheelchair before she reached the entrance doors. Doctors quickly confirmed severe appendicitis and explained emergency surgery was necessary immediately. Beatrice signed the consent forms with trembling hands while fear blurred her vision. Before surgery, she sent one final text message to Gloria. I'm in the hospital. They're operating tonight. Gloria answered seconds later. Stop embarrassing yourself. Marcus followed with another message. So who's cleaning tomorrow? Daniel finally responded with only 3 emotionless words. Listen to doctors. Nobody called afterward. Nobody came to the hospital. When Beatrice woke after surgery, pain spread across her stitched abdomen while tears quietly filled her exhausted eyes alone beneath the recovery room lights that long morning. The following morning, Beatrice's closest nursing school friend, Naomi Carter, arrived carrying soup, clean clothes, and anger hidden carefully behind calm eyes. Naomi had noticed for months that Beatrice looked thinner, exhausted, and emotionally drained every week. The moment she entered the hospital room and saw bruises around Beatrice's foreline, her expression hardened immediately. Then Gloria called unexpectedly. Beatrice hesitated nervously, but Naomi answered and placed the conversation on speaker. Gloria's irritated voice immediately filled the room. When are you coming home? Marcus says he has nothing clean to wear and the kitchen looks terrible. Beatrice whispered weakly, Mom, I just had surgery. Gloria sighed dramatically. Every woman experiences pain. Stop behaving helpless. Naomi ended the call before Beatrice could answer again. Silence filled the hospital room until Naomi finally asked softly, if one of our patients was treated this way by family, what would we call it? Beatrice lowered her eyes because she already knew the painful answer clearly. Naomi asked if there was anyone outside the Hall family who might actually help Beatrice escape the situation destroying her emotionally and physically. After several quiet moments, Beatrice whispered one important name. Sterling Vaughn. Sterling had been close friends with Beatrice's late grandmother for years and now controlled the trust fund supporting many Hall family expenses. Gloria feared him deeply. Marcus mocked him whenever he was absent. Daniel respected him almost too much. Years earlier, Sterling once handed Beatrice a business card during graduation dinner and quietly said, if you ever truly need help, call me. Until now, she never used the number because contacting him felt like betraying her family completely. Naomi dialed for her because Beatrice's hands shook too badly. Sterling listened silently while Beatrice explained the surgery, endless chores, cruel messages, and emotional neglect. When she finally finished speaking, Silence filled the call briefly before Sterling answered coldly, "Keep every message. Do not warn them. I'm coming immediately tonight." Sterling arrived before Beatrice's discharge papers were even completed by hospital staff later that same afternoon. He entered the room wearing a dark coat and carrying a leather folder beneath one arm. Without dramatic speeches, he calmly reviewed Beatrice's medication schedule with nurses, paid the remaining hospital balance, and arranged transportation personally. During the drive home, Beatrice sat quietly beside Naomi in the back seat while fear twisted stronger than the pain inside her stitched abdomen. She already knew what waited at home. Gloria would complain about unfinished chores. Marcus would mock her weakness. Daniel would stay silent again. Still, part of Beatrice foolishly hoped seeing her pale face and trembling body might finally awaken compassion inside them. Sterling parked 2 houses away instead of using the driveway directly. "People reveal their true selves when they believe nobody important is watching," he explained quietly. As they approached the house, Beatrice noticed decorations glowing through windows. Gloria had not cancelled the dinner party despite everything happening that day. The front door opened before Beatrice even reached the doorbell. Gloria stood there wearing expensive jewelry and immediate irritation across her face. She glanced briefly toward the hospital folder in Beatrice's hands before pointing toward the kitchen behind her. "You are finally back," she snapped coldly. "Stop pretending and prepare dinner immediately." Marcus appeared nearby holding a gaming controller while laughing carelessly. "Do not fake exhaustion just to avoid work," he added mockingly. Daniel stood farther down the hallway pretending not to notice the hospital bracelet still wrapped around his daughter's wrist. Gloria grabbed an apron from the hallway table and tossed it directly toward Beatrice's chest. The humiliation hurt worse than the surgical pain beneath her sweater. Beatrice's knees weakened dangerously from exhaustion and shame. Naomi quickly reached toward her, but before she collapsed, Sterling Vaughn stepped calmly through the doorway behind them all. The atmosphere changed instantly the moment everyone realized he heard everything spoken there moments earlier. Sterling slowly looked at the apron lying beside Beatrice's feet before lifting his cold eyes toward Gloria again. "Did you just order a woman recovering from surgery to cook dinner for you?" he asked quietly. Nobody answered him. Sterling stepped farther inside and calmly shut the front door behind him. "This dinner is cancelled," he announced firmly toward nervous guests whispering nearby. Then he turned back toward the Hall family. "Sit down. All of you." Gloria tried forcing a polite smile onto her face. "Sterling, this is a private family issue." Sterling stared directly into her eyes without blinking. "Not anymore. The trust fund financing this house belongs under my supervision." Fear immediately crossed Gloria's face. Marcus shifted nervously while Daniel obeyed the moment Sterling pointed toward the living room. Naomi carefully helped Beatrice sit beside the fireplace while Sterling connected his phone to the television screen and opened several saved folders containing messages, records, and financial documents proving years of neglect inside the Hall household clearly. The first image displayed across the television screen showed Gloria's message telling Beatrice not to milk her surgery because guests were coming over. The second displayed Marcus asking who would clean tomorrow despite knowing his sister faced emergency surgery. The third showed Daniel's cold response after learning his daughter needed an operation immediately. "Listen to doctors." Sterling allowed silence to spread heavily across the room before speaking again. "Your daughter was lying inside a hospital bed, and these were your responses." Gloria immediately protested nervously. "You are taking everything out of context. Beatrice exaggerates pain." Sterling calmly opened another document displaying discharge instructions ordering complete rest and absolutely no lifting. Then he turned directly toward Marcus. "Would you like explaining why you accused your sister of pretending after surgery?" Marcus shifted uncomfortably. "I didn't know it was serious." Naomi laughed sharply beside Beatrice. "She came home wearing a hospital bracelet." Marcus quickly lowered his eyes without another careless joke afterward that tense evening there. Sterling then displayed financial records connected to the Hall Family Trust Fund across the television screen for everyone inside the room to see clearly. Expensive furniture purchases, luxury restaurant bills, gaming equipment, online shopping charges, and private event decorations quickly filled the screen. Beatrice watched quietly in disbelief beside Naomi while Gloria's face slowly lost all remaining confidence. Sterling turned directly toward Daniel. "You approve these expenses under household support?" Daniel lowered his eyes slowly without answering immediately. Sterling displayed Marcus's gaming purchases, fuel cards, and phone payments next. "Professional development?" he asked sharply. Daniel swallowed nervously. Marcus said he was building an online business. Sterling's expression darkened instantly. "No." He built excuses while Beatrice carried this household alone. Marcus suddenly exploded angrily. "Why is everyone acting like Beatrice is perfect? She lives here too." For the first time all evening, Beatrice spoke firmly. "Helping means everyone shares responsibility. What you wanted was a servant instead of a sister." Silence immediately filled the room after Beatrice's words finally exposed the painful truth everyone spent years ignoring inside that house together. Gloria suddenly burst into tears and attempted defending herself desperately. "I was teaching her discipline. Women need to know how to manage homes properly." Sterling stared at her with complete disbelief and disappointment. "A daughter recovering from surgery needs care, not punishment," he answered coldly. Gloria turned toward Daniel with panic rising across her face. "Say something," she demanded sharply. Daniel looked toward Beatrice for several painful seconds before whispering quietly, "I should have gone to the hospital." Those words arrived far too late for comfort now. Sterling nodded once slowly. "Exactly." Gloria demanded. Marcus mocked. Daniel ignored. And Beatrice carried everything until her body collapsed completely. Nobody inside the room argued anymore because every excuse already sounded weak and shameful beneath the truth finally standing openly before them all that long emotional evening inside the silent hall living room. Then Sterling opened one final legal document that completely changed the Hall family's future forever, beginning that very night together. Effective immediately, he announced calmly, "Gloria Hall's trust card is frozen pending financial investigation." Gloria gasped loudly in shock. Sterling continued speaking without emotion. "Marcus Hall's vehicle will be repossessed tomorrow morning. His fuel card and phone plan are terminated tonight." Marcus jumped angrily from his chair. "You cannot do that." Sterling barely looked toward him while answering calmly, "I already did." Marcus immediately sat down again. Sterling then faced Daniel directly. "Your authority over trust expenses is revoked. Your employer will also receive notice regarding misuse approvals." Daniel looked devastated but remained silent. Finally Sterling addressed them together one last time. "You may remain inside this house for 30 days under written conditions. After that, anyone not contributing financially leaves." Gloria broke into open panic while Sterling's expression remained completely cold and unmoved by her desperate tears there that night. The following morning reality struck the Hall family harder than any argument ever had before inside that once comfortable household together. Gloria discovered her trust card truly was frozen when an expensive flower order failed repeatedly online. Marcus learned Sterling was serious when two men arrived before noon to repossess the luxury SUV he proudly drove for years without paying one bill himself. Inside the house dirty dishes piled higher because nobody expected Beatrice to clean anymore. Laundry baskets overflowed untouched near the stairs. Gloria wandered helplessly through the kitchen staring at chores she once forced onto her daughter every day. Upstairs Beatrice rested peacefully under doctor's orders while a professional home health aide focused entirely on her recovery instead of serving everyone else. That evening Daniel quietly knocked on Beatrice's bedroom door for the first time in years. "I'm sorry," he whispered painfully. Beatrice looked at him calmly before answering, "Sorry does not erase years of silence and watching me suffer alone here." 2 days later Sterling moved Beatrice into a small furnished apartment near campus where sunlight filled every room peacefully each morning. It was not luxurious, but nobody shouted her name demanding chores anymore. Naomi helped unpack nursing books, folded clothes, and framed photographs while Sterling arranged 6 months of rent directly with the landlord personally. Before leaving, he handed Beatrice a spare key and quietly said, "This is not charity. It is recovery time. Use it wisely." After he left, Beatrice sat alone on the couch and cried softly from relief instead of pain. Gloria called constantly during the first week, leaving angry voicemails accusing Beatrice of humiliating the family publicly. Later the messages became desperate and tearful ones. Gloria realized guilt no longer controlled her daughter. Marcus sent one bitter text blaming Beatrice for ruining his life. She deleted it immediately. For the first time ever, someone else's anger was no longer her responsibility to carry through exhausting sleepless nights anymore.